Poltergeist. It knows what scares you.
The best time of year. Welcome to the annual Halloween special. For newer viewers, every year around October I talk about tons of horror films, scary movies, thrillers. Doesn't have to be a Halloween movie that takes place around the holiday. It just has to be a scary film, a horror film, a thriller. Something that I enjoy watching every Halloween, and I'm going to have a lot of reviews coming to you guys very soon, as well as a hilariousity as always. And maybe an overlooked film. To start this year off, I want to talk about 1982's Poltergeist, directed by Tobe Hooper, produced by Steven Spielberg with a co-writing credit from Spielberg. This PG-rated movie, believe it or not, tells the story of a family that begins to realize their house is haunted. Chairs move across the kitchen floor. Their young daughter communicates with someone inside of their television. And many more strange things happen over the course of one of the most fun haunted house movies ever made. Now there's a lot of debate that's gone on over the years about who actually directed this movie. Tobe Hooper's films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre look nothing like Poltergeist. They don't feel like Poltergeist, and it feels very much like an Amblin production, a Steven Spielberg movie. It feels like his hands are all over this thing. It doesn't feel like anything else Hooper ever did. This could be because Spielberg co-wrote the film, and so a lot of his tendencies are in the movie. But some people on set have said that Spielberg was actually behind the camera more often than he admitted. Although he has maintained over the years that Tobe Hooper made this movie and it's his film. Whatever the case, Poltergeist is a lot of fun. This film has a very Spielbergian touch to horror in that even when it is supposed to be scary, he tries to put light-hearted touches to the movie. He uses a lot of humor in between scares, and sometimes that can be to the film's detriment. I don't find this movie all that scary all these years later. I think for me it's just more of an enjoyable watch. There's certain horror films that I really love to watch every Halloween, like Trick or Treat. And this film follows more in that category for me. I don't find Poltergeist scary in the least. I just find it exciting and entertaining. Sometimes that can be a disservice to the movie because you can tell that Spielberg was really hoping for that PG rating at the time. It was just PG or R. So even though there are some very gory elements in this movie, like the guy imagining himself ripping his skin apart, Tobe Hooper and Spielberg showed a lot of restraint in this movie, and sometimes that made it less scary and sometimes that actually made it better. Because even though this film has a lot of special effects and some of them haven't aged well, the film also uses a lot of practical effects when it goes for its scares. You can tell in Spielberg's writing and his producing that he wasn't quite ready to get to that Temple of Doom level of darkness that he got to a few years later. The family dynamic in Poltergeist is excellent. Craig T. Nelson and JoBeth Williams feel like an old married couple with tons of stories. They feel very lived in. Every time they're on screen talking about their past, especially in this one-bedroom scene, you really feel like they've been together for a while, but they're not sick of each other. They love each other even more. And the children in the film are great. Especially young Heather O'Rourke, who tragically passed away some years later. She's really good in the film. When she needs to be creepy, she is. When she needs to be an adorable, lovable little girl, she is. Really great child performances all around. Where the film sometimes falters for me is its second act. Because it's a lot of spectral investigating. Various mediums come over, people who are interested in photographing ghosts come over, and it feels like the entire second act is that. And while you do take some pauses to learn more about the family, and some backstory that's important, and some of the scares are really exciting, some of the special effects don't really hold up anymore, and so the scares and the wonder that comes from them just really isn't there. My favorite aspects of Poltergeist are by far its first and third act. Because, spoilers, if you've never seen Poltergeist, you should check it out. It's a good movie, it's worth your time. But if you've never seen the film, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the ending. Once they get their daughter back after she was sucked into the television, I love everything that transpires after that. The stretching hallway is wonderful. Jerry Goldsmith's score is really good. He made some of the best horror scores period between this and The Omen. The guy was a genius. And I love all of the dead bodies coming out of the ground, forcing the land developers to realize what they've done. That they moved the gravestones but not the actual bodies, and so all of these ghosts and spirits are just haunting the area because they're pissed and they should be. It's really fun stuff. Poltergeist is that rare horror movie that is just more entertaining than it is scary. I know that some people find this film terrifying. I'm not one of those people. I just really enjoy watching it. And it's definitely a Halloween staple. I'm gonna give Poltergeist a B+. Guys, I am so excited to talk about more horror films with you. And thanks for watching as always. Woof woof.